Okay. What's going on, Cole? Thanks for joining. I like the Komodo hype. Pretty cool. Trying a different webcam today. Hopefully it doesn't flicker like the one that I had before. So we'll see. But it's gonna be a good day. We're getting close to the end of this guy. Sad, but also exciting. Today we're gonna do the face. So we've got lots of face work to do. Because, believe it or not, that can take a long time, especially if you want the eyes to be fancy and glowy like the way that we want it to be. So we're going to give that a try. Turn off this autofocus. We're manual focus only on this stream. Do it the hard way or not at all. So, we got to work with that little space in the face. Also, I did one thing between this stream and last that you may or may not see. It's the gems. I put that coat of clear varnish on it. That's it. That's the only thing that was done off stream. But it adds that little bit of shininess to the gem that follows the eye. When you turn it, you can see it there. Looks really good. Did it to all the gems. So just a way to get it a little extra fancy on top of the fabulous paint work that you've already done, if you're going for that. Okay. Let's pick our colors for today. Clean palette. So the key to glowy effects is white ink plus other colors. Typically, you can use speed paints or shades. I actually have a really old shade that I wanted to try. It's Cassandra Yellow. It's a orangish red shade that sort of matches the cape. So I thought like this would be a neat alternative to what we would... Normally I would do red, but I think red is almost not matchy enough or not on theme enough. I want it to be kind of orangish like the tape here, so I chose this. Let's see if it works. Shades, I don't remember if they actually behave sort of the same way as contrast paint, so you know, if it doesn't work, then you know, we can pretend that we knew the whole time. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is there is a couple steps. So you want to do the large area first, the silver of the face mask. So we're going to do that with the metallic, and we're going to tint the metallic very dark with grim dark shadow first. So we're going to mix it on the wet palette with a wash to get that effect that we're going for. So let's do that first, because I want the mask to be really, really, really dark metal. A bit of that. And then the grimdark shadow. A little bit of that just right inside. That should probably be enough. Let's mix it up. See if we made it that dark green that we kind of want. Nope, needs a little more. Got silver all over my hands. Be careful. If you get this on your hands and then you grab your model and you didn't notice and this is still wet, thankfully this is dry, this will ruin the entire project. So pay attention when you grab your paint. Sometimes that'll happen. There we go. I think we're almost there. There we go. So now it's got a green tint to it while getting a little darker. Now, the reason I didn't want to just do a wash over is because we're going to do that glowy effect on top. And I don't need the recesses to be dark when I'm thinking about a glow. So this is the way I prefer to do it. Just make the metal itself that color. Okay. Start with this. I'm gonna use a we've used this brush and the one other brush for most of, so these are the, actually I'll just show you. So these are the 3 brushes that we've used for this entire model. Pretty much. Actually, it's 4 brushes. To be more honest, but here we go. So it's a 0, a 3, 0. This little pointy one that I've used specifically for like just a spear tip for those dot highlights, and then the dry brush for the stipple effect. But that's it. In case anybody was wondering. Started. Zoomed in enough. Focus up a little bit more. You're so learned. I hope so. That's the goal. Okay. You don't need to be crazy careful. Just try not to hit the gold that you hit before, because that will be somewhat difficult to replace. But you can hit this little tube, this little breathing apparatus you can get in there, because that's going to be a different color no matter what. That'll be the last thing that you do. You're going to do the eyes first. And I also hope that, speaking of learnedness, I hope that I did this whole model in like a steps that made sense. At the beginning, we talked about how do the big surface areas first, like the cape, and then progressively got smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. Now, because we added so much of this wash to the metallic, it's very runny. In fact, let me just show you. Very runny on the palette. It wants to travel on its own. Like this, I didn't pull. It traveled on its own. So with that in mind, only get enough on the brush so that you don't overload it. Make sure that if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's gonna overflow when you brush, because then it'll get into areas where you don't want it. So if you need to do multiple passes, do that versus messing up all that hard work that you did. There we go. Trying very hard to one, both paint on camera, but also not hit any of the other stuff. I think we're doing an okay job. Okay. Little tube. Because the tube is actually a metallic color. The tube is going to be a similar metallic to this, if not just the same. We might just leave it the same. If you wanted to be like crazy, crazy fancy, you could make it a different metallic shade than the faceplate. But we don't need to be that crazy if we don't want to be. You can if you want to, but like the scheme would be glowy eye, one dark shade of metal for the faceplate, the connector to the tube gold, tube metal color, and then the back, the metal going into the black. So that's like the traditional scheme. So let's take a look at the face. So now we've got that super dark metal on the face. Nice thin coat there, but good coverage. This Army Painter coverage, even when thinned down with this wash, excellent. I said it before, Army Painter actually is kind of killing it with this new line of stuff that they've got. I've done this, almost this whole model in Army Painter stuff. Few exceptions. Okay. See if that's sufficiently dry. I think it is. So now we're gonna fill the eyes with white. So that's this white ink. So this is just like the metal that we just had. Super runny. So be careful as much as you can. The idea here is you do want to spill a little over towards the bottom, because I'll show you, you want the glow to kind of go downward. So it's okay if the white kind of seeps a little bit down, but don't do it where it covers the whole faceplate as much as you can. I'll show you what I mean. So this eye is going to be way easier than the other one, but we're going to do our best on both. So just like before, be careful with how you load up the brush on this one. In fact, show you again. So this little motion really makes it travel. So like the surface tension is crazy low on an ink. You kind of want that for this, but let me show you. So I loaded up the brush. This is kind of what it looks like. So it's enough to be saturated, but not enough to overload. I'll show you what overloaded looks like too. So this is overloaded. See how it is shiny on top? Way too much. So twist enough out. There we go. I hope that was a good enough example. You flood the eye, you're gonna be sad. Okay. Okay, I think we did it. A little bit more to the front. There we go. So let me try and show you on camera. And you do have to kind of keep as still as you can. To see how it goes over the bottom just a little bit, but it's mostly in the eye. That's what you're looking for. It doesn't need to be perfect. Now let that dry completely and try to keep it at the same level, like holding it flat, sort of whatever the angle that you initially held it in, because this is a very liquidy paint. Ink. So it will move when you move. So thankfully I had it kind of flat like that. I'll just leave it for a second. Try not to make you nauseous with all the changing in focus. We'll do one eye completely, and then we'll go to the other one, because I don't want to turn it while it's still drying. That's going to take a second. Move all this other paint out of the way. Maybe rub some of this paint off my hand so I don't accidentally get crap all over everything. Man, I'm sad that we're going to be done with this guy pretty soon. There's only a few things that we have to do. We can hit the belts, the metal belt thing. Actually, while that's drying, we can do a little bit of that. We can use that same dark metallic that we use for the faceplate on this. I'm just going to leave it flat like this, and while the other thing's drying, you can hit that if you want. We'll highlight this in a minute. Means room for more. I know. But I had a lot of fun with this guy. That's kind of the consequence of when you like doing this stuff, is that you're like, oh man, this is turning out real good. And I really do think this guy turned out pretty great. We tried a lot of new techniques that I've never done before on here that turned out better than I thought. And some even better than I hoped they would. But we learned a lot of stuff with this guy. My boy. My precious boy. Go. Okay. Looks like we're just about dry here. So, show you one more time. So the eye was filled with white, plus just a little bit under the eyelid, or under the bottom part of the eye. And now we're going to take that shade, and this is the theory, is that it will hint all of that yellow, or all of that white, into this fire color. I've been doing this guy for 1 hour per stream for the last, this is stream number 9, so 9 hours is the total time spent. I haven't painted anything of this guy outside of stream. It's been 100% recorded from beginning to end. If you looked at the first one, it was black completely. And then we did every section live. Now, normally you wouldn't have to take that much time for something like this. 9 hours is a lot. But kind of starting over every time, like doing a different palette, loading up your colors, because sometimes you use the same colors on different stuff. It shortens the time quite a bit. Also, talking and explaining it. Takes up time. So don't think that that's like the normal time span. Stream timing, exactly. Okay, so we're loaded up with this shade. Let's hope. There we go. Oh, I think we did a good choice with this Cassandra yellow. Get a little more of that. It might be hard to see in the camera, at least from that distance, but I will hold it up here in a second. A little more yellow than I was expecting. Oh, my airbrush pump just kicked in. I had forgotten that was on. There we go. I don't remember the exact drying time on shades. It's been a while since I had a Citadel shade, but I really liked the color on the bottle. So there it is. It's currently pretty light, but that's the Cassandra yellow. It's a orangey yellow. So we're gonna do another coat of that once this dries, and it should come a little bit darker in the middle and keep that little white outline outside. But I think that that's pretty great, or it's going to turn out pretty great. We need one more coat to make that white on the bottom a little bit more yellow. But I think that's going to be a good color. It matches the gem a little bit, and it matches the cape accents. So remember, just like the gems are matching the cape accents, and the eyes are matching the cape accents, because you want small accessories to match large accentuating focal points. The small things like jewels and rings and things like that. If you're, we're talking about character design now, folks. You don't obviously need to follow what I'm saying, but like if you're designing characters or art, if you have like a big focal point and then you have little reminders of that big focal point on different parts of the art. Play the get off the stage music. See how long this, it's still very wet. I don't remember how long that takes. But what else can we do? We still need to do the belt, actually. Almost forgotten about that. We have the golden abs. But then we have that belt buckle along with a leather belt. Gotta be the same leather as before. Let's, while that's drying, prepare that. That was the Brigadine Brown. Hope I'm right. That'd be weird if the front was a different shade of brown than the back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. So we can do a first coat of that. And it's okay to go over the metal part of the belt buckle because you're going to go over that with metallic anyway. So don't think that you have to be 100% separate right from the get. You also learn how to paint over certain stuff. And how... Oh man, probably should have done this, but see, this is an example of a mistake. So it's a good thing to talk about, but like I'm doing this belt that's obviously behind stuff that I've already done, like these leg pauldrons here. So I have to be extremely careful, and it takes more time to do and is more risky to do this belt now, because if I hit brown onto this textured detailed pauldron on accident, that will be very difficult to fix. So learn from this and think about your steps. This is behind other stuff. So do that first. Think of it in layers if you can. Okay. But I think we got it. Okay. If anybody has any questions about stuff that they've been thinking about how to do, or if like you, like if anyone's like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to make yellow into a grimdark yellow or anything like that, ask them in the chat or leave them in a comment or something. I'd be happy to answer as best I can. Not that I'm the expert on everything, but I've done a lot of stuff, so hopefully I can help with that. It's still wet. It takes a long time. Let's do the other eye. Not traveling, so it's dry enough where it's not going to move around. But let's do the white. The other eye. Sorry, my hand's in the way. But it's gonna be for this. No other way to do it right now. There we go. That might actually need a little bit more white, but we'll let that dry for now. Actually not worried about letting it dry this way because it's still going to move in the same direction as I want it to. Okay. There we go. That's finally dry. But we're going to make it wet again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put another coat to make it more bold and more orange. Obviously, if you have an orange contrast paint, you might just choose that instead. But I was trying a shade for two reasons. One, I really in particular like this color, but I wanted the white to be, it's more translucent, this color, being a shade, so I wanted to see if that would work better than a contrast paint, because contrast obviously has a little bit better coverage and will cover the white more than I might want it to. So we're trying this. The solution to that, if you don't have a shade, obviously, is thin it down. Thin down the contrast paint either with water or with contrast medium, if you have it. Although, big gripe I have with Army Painter on this one particular issue is why the hell is the contrast medium in a bottle like this? It's so small for contrast medium. Give me a big bottle. Said it before. This airbrush medium. Now, I've never tried the airbrush medium that I have here with contrast. I should probably test that. Maybe I'll make a video on that to see if it works the same, because if it does, then just get that. It's cheaper and it'll last you a hell of a lot longer than that tiny bottle. Go. Nice glowy eye coming through. And the way it's going to glow even more than what we've got going on right now is when this is all dry, you're going to add that little stab of white in the middle or in the corner to make it look even more glowy. That's going to take a while to dry. Let's do the belt buckle in the meantime. My brush got there, it is. Since I have this green tinted metal, we're going to use this. And this we can actually take advantage of, because if we take the pure metal at the end, a belt buckle is a good option to have a little dot shiny highlight. So if we do the metal bits of it, this dark metal, we get the opportunity to make the corners shiny. Hope my microphone is not cutting out half of my words. I feel like it kind of is. Oh, that's super dark against the brown here. Kind of hard to see. Might need a couple of coats. Yeah, we're gonna need a couple of coats on this, because the brown underneath is so dark that I can't quite see through it, or it's too close to the same. By the way, all the while doing this, keeping an eye on that eye, making sure that any movement that I do to the model isn't sloshing around that shade. That would be a tragedy, especially on the face. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's a fairly easy fix, because a thin coat of the metal that we already mixed up will easily cover any mistakes on the faceplate. So don't worry too much. And you can even use it to fix any overspill that you may have done with the white. Try to just fix it by doing an upward motion towards the eye instead of just covering up the whole eye, because you can fill it. If you have any opportunity at all, just cover the overspill on the faceplate, not covering the entire thing with the eye, because you will fill up the eye hole with the paint that you're using to fix, and then it's going to be more difficult to do the effect on the eye that you want. Okay. Super hard to see that belt buckle from that far away. Oh, we got a nice leather belt buckle with a metal, dark metal buckle. And we're going to make it stand out by doing the corners of it. And we'll even use the silver. Why not? We'll make it a really bright silver. Mithril. Just to call attention to it, like, ding. It'll even make you notice the golden abs. More art theory here, folks. Drawing the eye's attention to areas of the piece that you wouldn't normally pay attention to because there's so much else going on. Like little treats. If you sneak things in there and you create little clues like this belt buckle that we're doing to draw the eye towards your secret stuff, then wow, will you be able to impress the people who pay attention to your tiny plastic soldier. But that's what we want. So we're just doing the corner. Actually, we're gonna do corner going down just a little. And to the side just a little. I'll show you what it is. And we're gonna do the belt clip. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but it's the... There we go. You can already kind of see it from where the camera is right now, but see that? It even matches the light pattern. But doesn't it make those gold abs stand out? No, shut up. It totally does. Art technique. By the way, look at the orange eye. I think we picked the perfect shade of eye. Red wouldn't have looked as good. Red would have been blending in with the shoulder panel instead of the gem that's above the eye. We know how to do colors and accents on this channel. Okay, let's add a little bit more white to the other eye. As you can see, it's kind of, it was too thin. It was a little muted. We need to add a little bit more, or else we're not going to get that same glowy effect, which is the whole point. There we go. Nice and saturated. Now we gotta let that dry. I'm tempted to do the little gold pieces, or at least prepare the gold for the tube area. Let's do that. So remember, it's just Retributor armor, and then it's got the strong skin shade on top of it. For this little situation, I'm just going to mix them on the palette. They're allowed to be a little bit different than the above gold because it's technically a different piece of the face. So if anybody gives you shit about, like, oh, it's a slightly different hue than the top part of the eye, You can give him five across the lips. Don't do that. Don't hit your friends. Go. Nice. Strong skin shaded gold. Bring it a little more brown. That's ready for when we need it. We don't need it yet. I keep messing with the audio on the stream. I hope that it's getting to a place where people actually like it, because I keep turning the music up and down. Because last stream I noticed that it was very low and you couldn't really hear it when I talk, and I hear that that's bad, but I have no idea. Okay, so this eye on the left is just about done. We're gonna add that dot. Now remember what I said last stream. The way we're gonna do this with precision is I take the brushes that have set from cleaning and preparing them the night before after my session. And remember how I said I do that. I just rinse them out, and then I use this Green Stuff World brush repair gel to set them. And what I mean by that is I put a little bit on the brush tip, and then I run it from my hand just like this to make it a point. And this dries sort of like hair gel, and it repairs the brush head to make it pointy. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad that the audio is not jarring or anything like that. Thank you for saying so. It's been different on every stream, and I'm sure that that's jarring for some people if they're watching. So we've got our nice spear tip, because we want to make a little dot on the eye, trying not to mess up all of our beautiful work that we've done of filling it and letting it dry. I'm gonna go for the back corner here. Hold your breath. I think we did it. Pretty hard to see. There we go. Just a little accent in the back corner to make it look like it's shiny. And again, we can do the same trick that we did with the gem by putting that clear varnish over top to make that shine travel when we turn. But man, I'm really glad that that shade turned out so well. I think it looks fantastic, contrasted with the gems. Perfect. Oh, I almost made a mistake. I almost rinsed our spear brush. Do not rinse it. Let that shit dry. Keep it pointy. We've got one backup if we accidentally, without paying attention, go and rinse it. Try not to do that if you can. Okay. The other one, man, I really haven't been filling that one enough with enough white. We need a little bit more white on that one still. Not gonna be glowy. Oop. See? My hubris has affected me. I got a you can't see it, but I got a tiny little bit of the white onto the gold outside. So, actually, I'll show you. It's an easy fix. But what you don't want to do is attempt to fix it before that dries. Let it dry completely, and then use that gold that we just prepared to fill that in just a little bit. And if it's not dark enough, because we made the gold pretty dark on the faceplate there, we can add that wash again. But don't get discouraged when that happens, because it's gonna happen. Okay, let me show you what I mean with that ard coat with the clear varnish. So what I use is this Citadel color technical ard coat. I find that this dries super shiny, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So you just take that with your normal brush. Be sure to rinse this completely out after you're done using it. This will, if you leave it in, will ruin your brush. And also don't apply it to anything that's not completely dry, because that will ruin completely whatever that you did, because it will mix with the paint and dry as a big hard shell of that color. Okay, so we just put a little bit of that on there, and then when it dries, it'll be a shiny surface. Okay, check on this side. Not dry. That's fine. See, what else can we do? Oh, here we go. We can do some of this back sword because we have the gold prepared for it. It's going to still be this green. Well, no, it needs to be the same gold as the weapon, which is the greenish hue that we made before. So we're going to make another little mix of the Retributor armor plus Grim Dark Shadow. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. And this sword has a little gem on it, which is exciting. There's two little jewels actually that we get to work on. But we're gonna make it gold first. Now, the gold pieces are actually not the whole thing, but the scabbard here is probably a leather. I'm not 100% sure. But if it is a leather, we're going to make it a unique leather. It's not going to be the same leather as the belt leather that we've got going on over here. We might make it maybe, what's a good contrast here? We could make it a green. We could make it a super dark blue. Or we could make it a red. We might go with a dark red. Or we should decide what the color of the blade is going to be and match it with the scabbard leather. In which case, that might be a purple. We'll decide that later. But we're going to do this gold for now. Oh yeah. Disgusting green gold. What we want here. Same as the weapon. And that's the mix of the Retributor armor. It's almost a 1-to-1 of Grimdark Shadow and Retributor armor. We'll see once I put it on here. Now, I'm gonna do the hard part first. By hard part, I mean the part that's right next to this beautiful cape. Take your time. Do not rush. Move the model. Don't try and do something you can't see. There we go. Same rules with this. When you mix it with washes, it becomes very runny. Especially with detail work on the back here with stuff that you've worked so hard on. Do not overload your brush. Okay. Actually, this bottom part is not a jewel, it's a stud. But this top one is a jewel for sure. So we'll do the jewel a nice accent color. Actually, you know what? More color theory and more character building theory. The jewel should be the accent color of the blade. So if the blade is purple, the jewel is going to be a shiny purple. The scabbard can be a reddish leather or a brownish leather if we want it to be. I would make it a lighter leather than the belt because it's different materials. But I think we're going to go with a reddish leather with that one. Okay. We've got the bottom part of the scabbard done. Let's do the jewel area and the hilt and the pommel of the sword. You do want to make the jewel gold at first because the outside of it is much more difficult to hit. It sounds awesome. Yeah. You mean the jewel being the accent color of the blade? Because I think so too. Again, little visual treats that you add in there. When people say, they're like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's the power source of the da 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 da." And whatever they say, you're just like, "Yeah, uh-huh, mm-hmm, definitely." You get to take credit for everything, even if it was unintentional. Even if it was, I had purple on the palette at the time. So that's what I used because I wanted to finish. Which will also happen. Okay. Oh, by the way, I did have some people ask on in TikTok comments what model this is because the bottom doesn't look right. The bottom is a Stormcast Eternal that got fused to the top of a Custodes because I really like the legs and the cape on this guy. And the only models that are similar enough in size to Custodes are the Stormcast. The Custodes with this leg pattern is actually slightly taller than a normal Custodes. So it works a little bit, but the legs are thinner. So he's like, this guy looks like he skipped leg day maybe once or twice. But the height compensates for it a little bit. But I've seen people try to do different legs on Custodes before, and it's funny because you forget that they're canonically bigger guys than Space Marines, so it doesn't work. But the Stormcasts are close enough where you can get some interesting combos. You can even do certain ones that I've seen with and keep like the lion iconography, although that doesn't quite fit. You can shave some of that off because Custodes don't really have lion iconography. But the thunderbolts definitely work. Like, for example, this little thunderbolt attached to the belt clip, which is extremely difficult to see, that I'm not going to do in this gold. That's going to be a more pure gold. But the thunderbolt iconography on the Stormcast definitely fits. So you get to do some cool little fusion dances here, if you want to. Okay. So now that those little accent pieces, even just with the accent pieces, that looks so much better. We're coming to the end. Just little stuff to go, like the vents here. We can do in like a glowy effect if we want to, like a they're hot effect, which is pretty easy. I'll show you how to do that. And then we can do highlights on the metal tubing in the front. And we actually still have to do the back leg down in here. There's still enough to do for maybe 1 or 2 more streams. That's funny as that sounds. It's already been an hour. We're at 55 minutes. But we're gonna finish this eye. So I can show you what the final eyes look like. Pick up the shade again. Got like a bouffant going on with my hair. I haven't been paying attention. Not that anyone gives a shit about my hair. Oh, one thing. Not balding. Somebody commented like, "Where's the hairline?" Because it's always forward. Like, it's not hiding it. Not balding. So shut up. I was like, damn. Some real scrutinous people. But it's all fun. Okay. Build. Yeah, I know. Maybe it's like the beard or something. Like, gotta use the facial hair to copy that. No, I'm not balding. I'm lucky. I'm not bald. Shut up. It's not bald. It's not even moving back. I swear. Super lucky. None of the males in my family ever went bald. Imagine if I was the first. Oh my god. How embarrassing. But I just couldn't believe. I'm like, man, I'm trying to show you how to do art and you're looking at my friggin' hairline. Like, is this as if does he know what he's talking about? Let's take a look at the context clues. But already, let's take a look. I think that was the perfect eye shade for this guy. Look at that. Bam. And also, actually, the art coat is dry now, so we can see the effect that had. So it gives it a little bit of a reflective quality. Especially when you hold it at certain angles like that. Makes it look glass. And it even kind of brings out some of the color. So it is a worthwhile step. Hell yeah. Just because I think because that side is done, we can use the other gold that we prepared because it will make it pop even more. This is also the most fun part. The end is you get to have fun with little areas. So you'll see when I do the little tube end, it will make the rest of the face more contrasted. And the detail of like how dark the faceplate metal is and how bright the eyes are look even better. Just like that. He looks like a real boy. And just because we have it already made, this is the same color that you will use to highlight the pauldron here. And when I mean highlight, I mean just barely touching certain areas because you don't want to take away from the dark burnished look. Talking about just the corners, something like this. Just to imply that underneath that grime, still the custodian that has had this armor for 10,000 years. Just little accents like that, and we do it at the top. Point. Don't be overzealous, just a little is enough to be a nice little accent. Bottom. Boom. Looking good. Are we dry enough on the other side? Yes, we are. But we need a little bit more orange. Not quite orangish enough. Go. Guys, turning out fantastic. But see how much that face drew everything together? Makes the whole thing look much more complete. What else can we do while we're waiting? Oh. We can fix, or we can actually apply. There's some little areas that we missed. Some people pointed it out. The back of the pauldron here, which is still this sepia skin tone gold. So we can fix that really quick. How about on camera? That might be nice. And in focus. There we go. But it's little accents like this that make the whole thing come together. Boy, accents are the most fun. The big stuff is also fun, but I think that the accents are the most fun part. Maybe that's why I like Custodes, is because especially if you're just doing like the main line Custodes, they're just gold. You paint the whole thing gold and you wash it and you do the main tones and everything like that. But it's the accents that make them stand out. The jewels and the filigree, and all those little things that you have to add to make them unique. There we go. I didn't hit the cape. Thank goodness. Continue. Add another layer here. A little bit more there. Just doing cleanup. Okay. Rule of cool, gold is cool. Absolutely. Gold is cool. And you can do the whole thing gold and it would still look cool. But when you get to do the little accents on the gold too, oh boy. Okay. Dry enough. We'll do the little stab. And we'll close it out for the day. Thank you, Cole, for sticking around for the whole thing. Damn. Wish I had better depth perception because I have no idea how close or how far away I am from this thing. There we go. And the way we're gonna make that look better, I messed up at the end. I I did the I rinsed off our stabby brush, but that's okay. Now we can fix that little area that we messed up, which will bring the whole thing together. I think we did okay. That's it, folks. The face is 99% done. Let me do the little accent tube, just like I did the other side. I appreciate you. Yeah, that orange was definitely the right color. We got it. All right. The key now is being happy with what we've done. And then we get to close it out, and then tomorrow, we're going to do it again, and we're going to do more little accents. We're going to hit the sword on the back, and we're going to finish anything that we left behind on maybe the weapon, and little accents on things like the hands. But I appreciate everybody for showing up. Cole, you're the man. I appreciate you sticking around. We'll see anybody who comes around tomorrow. Have a good night.